Oh gosh, I think we've heard it on here before.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And she's a listener.
Well, why did the chicken cross the road?
Because I said mine wouldn't, but like these kids, they sleep all the time.
Teenagers.
They're like, oh, I get up so early to go to school. It's like, man, I've already manufactured, dusted, came home, take a shower, worked out, and read a book.
You did do those things this morning.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like a regular day. I'm always going. It's actually funny because this morning I was talking to Steven and he's like, man, you got a lot of energy. You're up. And I'm like, yeah, but tonight I'll be like, poof, out.
Yeah, you go to bed early.
I go to bed early.
We have established that. Hello, everybody.
All right.
Happy
Another good week.
Thursday.
We're just literally, as you're listening to this, we're actually just right into Labor Day weekend. We're about.
Sorry, everyone. It kind of made an interesting sound, and then I was like, was that the microphone? So I did it again, which was probably...
like irresponsible.
Yeah, totally irresponsible. Yeah, we are. We're headed into Labor Day weekend, which
Labor Day
is
weekend.
super
Everyone gets
exciting.
a
3-day weekend. Woohoo.
Woohoo.
We actually, for you and I know we've talked a lot about our travels on this podcast, but last weekend was my birthday weekend. We talked about it. The birthday list has been fulfilled, and thank you to everybody. No, it was a fantastic weekend, and I couldn't have asked for a better time celebrating with better people. It was like amazing. But all of my girlfriends that I grew up with, well, a couple of my very close girlfriends, not all of them, but anyway, a couple of them came in and we went to our lake house. So it was the first time that they got to see it. The girls I grew up with in Michigan, who are some of my best friends today. And it was the last, like, we had trips planned to travel to other places, and we had people coming to visit us and stay with us. And I feel like it was literally the last weekend of the entire year as summer's coming to a close where we had a major commitment like that. Like I know we will.
Well, we're going, this is like the last weekend to relax. So I do kind of feel like,
what do you mean
you're
the
right.
last
Like that
weekend
was
to relax?
last weekend was the biggest commitment weekend because we were entertaining.
No, I just mean in general. We've traveled all year. We've gone on trips. We've taken flights. We've had people come to us. And on our calendar, we don't really
There's
have...
nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing else. That was our last commitment.
I know.
For the year.
And then what happened on Sunday afternoon?
I'm going to Charleston.
What are you doing a girls' weekend? Yeah. And there. And then what did I do? Because there was nothing left on the list. What happened?
You panicked.
I went into panic mode.
You freaked.
And I was like, holy cow, there's nothing planned for the rest of the year. Like, but at the same time, it's holiday season coming up. So like, that's where I get pumped.
But because we don't have plans for the rest of the year.
Because we have not put the Halloween party on the calendar. We have not put Friendsgiving on the calendar. We not put, well, Thanksgiving's always on the calendar. What are we doing for Christmas?
But Friendsgiving's a different date than actual Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So we actually made a big observation like a month ago. I'm not sure if we shared on the podcast, which is if you're very busy in life, right? Or and you have a lot of things going on, you stop having things to look forward to. Like there's no rest, And so a lot of times if you have like a vacation plan that's 2 months away or even a year away, it's like, oh, I can't wait. Can't wait to get to that. And like, there's the buildup, there's the packing, the pre-packing, the checklists, like all those things that I think I really love and dig. And those go away because you're running on empty. You're going from event to event to event, and the exact same things happen in business. If you're traveling and going to trade shows or doing this, and you don't take the breaks,
or just drinking out of a fire hose,
you're just drinking out of a fire hose, and it's just nonstop. And at some point, it can stop becoming fun.
I mean, I had fun on all of our trips this year, but to your point, so I am a huge planner. I mean, I'm planning restaurants we're going to. I'm planning daily excursions and activities, even if the activity is lay on the beach. Like I am like, this is our schedule. Here's what we're going to do. And we have done so much traveling really over the last couple of years that I feel like me as a person, like I've changed who I am when I travel. Like it's much more like, well, here we are. Like, we just showed up here. We got here. The fact that my bag is packed and we made it is like an accomplishment in itself. And now that we're here, we're going to figure out what's here to see and what we're going to do, because I just don't have the time to look into it because we're doing all these other things.
Yeah, but it's also because we've been extremely busy on the business side as well.
Yes, that's true. Very true.
So where before, and for those of you that, there is a little bit of a time commitment change that can take place if you're being the one that's having to create something, or you're creating a business. So for all those people that are creating a business, they might be in the season of their life where it's nonstop. They wake up at 6 a.m, they go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, and that's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Had to clear my throat real quick. I was holding it back.
Let me clear my throat.
Speaking of businesses,
I feel like I've done that before.
So we talked about ice cream at the last week, and then Bree had actually messaged me, and she's like, Dad, she's a CPA, and she's like, Dad, I need to tell you, I have a lot of clients that
own ice cream shops.
She's like, they're banking. You're awesome. You need to do it, Dad. You got to go for it. I'm like, you should do it. So
well, she can, but just tell her not to open a shop a block away from me. I don't need a competitor.
Well, actually, last night you even said on my way home, you're like, hey, can we get chocolate chip ice cream? And I actually stopped.
I said, can we get chocolate chip cookie dough? Because I saw a commercial with warm baked chocolate chip cookies, and I never
okay.
So
I added the word ice cream to the end.
You just added it in your
You know
mind.
why? Because it is unsafe for you to eat raw chocolate chip cookie dough.
Anyone,
it's got egg in it.
Anyone.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, anyone who's just eating it. I feel like
I
when they
want
put
the dough,
but I feel like when they put chocolate chip cookie dough in the ice cream, it somehow became safe.
Well, it did. They obviously don't put raw egg in that ice cream.
No, it's got to be like an egg substitute.
And forget it being unsafe. I eat anything anyway.
Speaking of ice cream, we have two. Do we have just two ice cream shops on Main Street here?
In downtown Sarasota. And what's crazy is those two shops are relatively new over the last like 3-4 years.
Well, I would say the first one that I'm going to bring its name up here in a second is the older of the two, and it's probably 3 years old. Main Street Creamery, I feel, is only maybe max 2.
That's what I just said. They're both new in the last 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess so.
We have this thing where I say things and then he repeats it, and everyone's like, "Oh, great idea!
Oh yeah, great
you're
idea!"
Right.
Yeah. So there's 2 ice cream shops. Both came here within the last 2-3 years, and so I was reading this article on this guy who's in marketing, and he was talking about how he gets hired to name companies, like so,
oh, really?
like
That's
and
his
do
job?
rebrands.
That's a cool job.
Like it's really cool. He goes out there and he was talking about some different things, and one of the ones that he mentioned was Payne Chiropractic. The guy's last name was Payne, Payne. And so he's like, that was really kind of funny. And they went out of business, he said, because people.
They went out of business?
Yeah, because the word pain, but to them, basically meant that there was pain. Like it wasn't going to relieve pain. It was just pain.
I mean, it's definitely an oxymoron, but at the same time, like,
and then there's faux.
It must not have been good business.
No.
You don't go out of business just because your name's set
No,
up.
the whole article was predicated because it's the same way of naming children. Naming children has a huge impact.
Like your child.
Yes, it has a huge impact on people's resumes getting picked up.
Well, that is.
This isn't Chris's opinion. This is facts.
That is fact.
So businesses.
There's a lot of business. We're going to go down a rabbit hole, but I was going to say there are a lot of businesses that have started to use like third parties where you can't see the name of the applicant or you can't see certain information.
Yeah.
You're just making a decision on skills.
I know, but I want to talk about these funny restaurant names.
Okay.
So like one of the things was faux. And their original name was King Eggroll, and so they were King Eggroll. They put the word faux in front of it, so it became Faux King Eggroll.
Well, it's funny because you did put it on our notes for today, and I was reading them, and I was like, Faux King Eggroll, and then I was like, oh,
Faux King Eggroll.
But the reality is, it's actually pronounced pho.
I know, but a lot of people say faux.
No, it's better if you say pho.
Oh yeah, fucking yeah. It does. It's so much better.
It's so much better. That's the proper way of pronouncing it. For those of you who don't know.
But we have a Chinese restaurant here in town. And every time I see them, every time we get food there, I just laugh in the parking lot. And it's their name is Wok, WOK, in. So it's walk in. I'm like, I love this place. Like I have
You
never
love to walk in.
walk in. I sit there and I
wonder
say it
if-
to myself in the parking lot. I laugh. I go in with the biggest smile when I grab our cheap Chinese and bring it out.
It's
And
been a long time since you've got. I don't.
every time we get that, we regret it.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and like bash the business. There's nothing wrong.
No,
with
no,
the
the
business.
food's delicious.
He loves the food. I'm not a
We
huge.
just
I
sit
just
and
don't
eat
like Chinese food in
mounds
general.
of this like fried rice and this
Sweet and sour chicken. Oh my god.
Oh, I love
I was
it.
just talking to my girlfriend about this, and her husband wanted to go for Chinese, and she was like, "I really don't think this is a good idea." And he's like, "No, it is." And it was completely. She was regretting it every second
Mm-hmm.
after they had gone. And I said, "Chris loves cheap Chinese," and I'm just like, I can't get
love
into
cheap
it.
Chinese.
So it's been years because I
You know what
don't
else I
feel
like?
like I'll go back. But I wonder if you ever get cheap Chinese while I'm out of town. That'd be a good decision.
I have once or twice, and then again, I'm enjoying it, and then I have like this huge regret. Like,
So you were, I
why
think it's
did
like
I do
the,
that?
and again, I don't know what they,
MSGs or
yeah, I
whatever.
think it's the MSGs.
It
That's
could
what I was
be.
going to say.
There's just like that feeling afterwards sometimes.
You know what's so weird? I know we talked about the cucumber guy the other week because he is
Yeah.
trending right now, and I'm just giving this guy all these accolades. But I actually don't love the cucumber videos, but he's adding MSGs.
I saw that. I
It's
thought that was so weird.
Like why would you do that?
I think that he actually did that thinking he'd get a rise of him adding that, and people were like, why are you doing that?
and instead, people are just like, why are you putting a whole cucumber in a container?
yeah, and then people were like,
Shaking
this
it.
guy eats whole cucumbers.
I don't know, but the MSGs, it's wild. It's like, who owns powdered MSG? I don't even know what it is.
You know
I don't
what?
even know what it is.
I don't even know what
It's
it
not
is
good
either.
for you, though. It ain't
so
natural.
any of those foodies out there that could tell us what MSG
I think if
actually
you're a
is,
foodie, you don't know MSG.
I think that's the case. It's just like
You use natural ingredients.
One of my other favorite places in downtown. Actually, if I had to pick a place what kind of food would I get? If you're like, hey, and I'm not with you.
Well, yeah. I think
If I'm not
we've
with you, where
disclosed
am I
this
going?
Information.
I'm gonna
Anytime,
get a hot dog.
Oh, and the other day we had to go somewhere in the car, and we were supposed to leave like at 2:00,
Yep.
and he is 3 minutes late. Which if it was me, he'd
No, I
kill
was
me.
not late.
You were.
I was not late at all. I
Anyway,
was early.
You were not early. You thought we were leaving at 2:00.
You texted me at
and we were
1:50
leaving at
and you said,
1:50.
where are you? And I said, I'm pulling up. Because here's the thing.
Let's break it down on the podcast.
Here's the
I
story.
texted you at 1:40 and said, "Are you going to be ready to leave in 10 minutes?" You said yes. We were going to leave at 1:50.
We had to leave at 2.
No, we had to be there at 2.
We didn't have to look. Okay.
Anyway,
we had 30 minutes to do.
You're ruining the story.
Okay. Anyway,
he had a freaking hot dog and
I
French
asked her.
fries.
I said, "Are you going to
a
lunch?"
chili covered hot dog and French fries.
I said, what are you doing for lunch? She said, I'm not hungry. I'm not going to eat. And I had to run downtown, stop by the bank. And so I was like, this is an opportunity for a hot dog.
And he didn't even ask me if I wanted anything,
I
which
did
I would not
beforehand.
have.
I said, what are you having for lunch?
But then
You
but
said-
then if I would have known where you were going, like a typical woman, then all of a sudden maybe it would have sounded good.
You've never gotten a hot dog.
No, I don't want a hot dog.
Anyway,
but
we're only bringing this up because of the funny names, and the name of the place is called
Well,
Doggy
no.
Style.
it's called Doggy Style, which is hilarious.
It's hilarious. And
But
he's got
also-
dancing hot dogs.
Yes, we've talked about his place before.
I love his place.
We promoted it because you're so obsessed.
Anyways, I got a Carolina dog, which had a little bit of chili, ketchup, a bunch of slaw, mayo.
So I had to drive to where we were going, which never happens. And then
I scarfed that dog.
oh,
down.
he's eating this hot dog and French fries in the car. I mean, I was like a dog out the window. It was disgusting. I was like,
it's
we're gonna
so good.
smell like fried food. Ugh.
Hot dogs are not fried. I had some fries.
French fries
I
were.
did have French fries. Come on. Because they used to have crinkle cut fries, and I'm going to talk to him because I didn't open up. Because I got it to go.
gonna need him to
I opened it up and I was like, oh, regular fries.
I actually
like
didn't
they're one of
even-
my crinkle cut go tos.
I didn't even know. I was walking down the stairs and you were waiting to go out the door, and I didn't even know you had stopped for food. And all I heard was, "They got rid of the crinkle cuts," and I thought, "Oh, where'd he go?" I was like,
You probably could smell it already.
oh, I could. It was
So anyway,
brutal.
that place always puts a smile on my face, Doggy Style. The great hot dogs. The owner's amazing. And then a little bit further down, one of the other ice cream stores that we have in Sarasota is called the Fat Donkey.
Didn't we just talk about this?
No, we didn't talk about why it's called the Fat Donkey. And so
You guys
at
are going
first,
brain
it was
dead.
kind of like, why would someone name their ice cream shop fat donkey.
Like, who wants to be a fat donkey?
Yeah, but it's actually like a
fat ass.
It's fat ass.
It's a play on fat ass.
It's a play on
which
fat
again,
ass.
who wants to be a fat ass? It's
Right.
like, come in and
Eat
have
our ice cream.
And I'm sorry. Again, I don't want to like down any business or local places because we love our town. But who opens an ice cream shop where you can't see the ice cream?
You couldn't see the ice cream.
Can you now? I haven't gone
I
back.
don't know because and again, so this is we're talking about businesses here.
I know.
Right? And service and whatever. So if you have an ice cream shop, people need to see the ice cream. That's what you're selling.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, so I was, you know how like you get into the ice cream shop and everyone's in like this long line. Like if we go to Kilwins or something, which I love, you're like waiting in this line, but it's the line is in front of all the ice cream. So you can't like go and view them in advance. So when I was up north in Tawas, Michigan, there's this famous ice cream shop on the corner and the window to order is outside, but the whole inside is all the flavors. So you can walk into the store, take all your time to view the ice cream without anybody standing in front of the cases.
That's good.
And then you go outside and order. I was like, that's brilliant.
Unless it's raining.
Well, I'm sure you can, you know.
Do they have an awning out there?
Yeah, I was just impressed with the process.
Anyway, but you right.
But it's Michigan, so their ice cream shop's not open, you know what I mean, in the winter.
Right. That's true. But it still rains in the summer. But I agree with you, right? So if you're selling a product,
we need to stop giving away all of our intelligent ice cream ideas because I'm going to open up a shop and make millions.
Okay. Well, when we open up our shop, we're gonna share everyone about our new line story and how we're gonna bring everyone by the ice cream. You know what would be great is like having the ice cream be like on a. You ever been to like a sweet tomato? It's like the salad place.
I know what you're talking about. Tomato. Like, what is that?
Sweet tomatoes. It's sweet tomatoes.
I felt like you were like a.
But they
have.
Have
you had a sweet tomato
if you think
lately?
about it, they have like in the middle, they have like a little service in the middle that services the buffet.
Yeah, I've only been there like once in my life. I can't really comment.
All right. Well, let's move on then. So. Okay. What else we got going on here?
Well,
we had Girls Weekend. We picked up the boat.
Girls Weekend. So Girls Weekend was amazing. It was the first time that we were back at the lake for a while. We hadn't been since like the 4th of July. Because we're traveling. We were in Michigan. You were in Belize on your dive trip. We were just getting things figured out around the house and back in Sarasota. And it was awesome because it was a girls trip, but you and my parents were there too. So it was a little bit different because you guys got an inside view on what girls trips are like. And you did a great job.
Yeah, I hid.
You did. No, you did a great job interacting with the girls, but there was no holding back. You know, they showed up in style. And I warned you, I said, you know, day one, we come in hot.
Yeah. And I told Haley my favorite joke.
Oh, gosh. I think we've heard it on here before.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And she's a listener.
Well, why did the chicken cross the road?
Because! That's my favorite joke to tell. Everyone, please share that.
Please share that.
Yeah, please share that joke. Is your throat okay?
You
yeah,
okay?
It actually just cleared my throat. That was actually really good.
There you go.
But we actually, I want to talk about service.
Well, yeah. So hold on, because the boat went in. We've talked about it. The boat needed to go in for regular maintenance. The jet ski went into the shop. By the way, we still don't have our jet ski back. But anyway, this was the jet ski that we thought was the $13 fix.
It was $13 fix.
They fixed the wrong jet ski. So we've had like anything mechanical or electrical that Chris has touched this summer has just seen better days.
No, I think other people touched them.
That's true. That is true.
Not Chris.
Yes. But the boat in particular just needed a maintenance check. And so we were supposed to get it back. I mean, you've called every single week since we dropped it off after the 4th of July weekend. And we were like, hey, can we come and pick it up? And it was supposed to be done July 19th. And we were like, my girlfriends were coming. They're flying in from other states. And it's like, we need this boat. Like, you've got to give us this boat back. So I will let you tell the story.
Well, I could probably talk for probably 20 minutes on this, but I want to keep it short. I want to keep it short to like service experience. So one of the things when we're prototyping a new franchise concept is what is the communication like between the person receiving the service and the person giving the service. And so, and if we look at our Google reviews that we've gotten here recently
from Stakecool, our air conditioning company, we built a software for communication.
And so, you know, a lot of what we do is build the software and the elements around that. And then the experience is over communication. It's like, hey, we have your order. Hey, we're en route. Hey, we've arrived. Hey, we just finished installation. And we're kind of communicating along the way. And what that's done is that...
And people love it. It's the Domino's pizza tracker. It's everything. People want to know what's going on. And Jimmy John's does it now.
Yeah,
It's like,
and our Google reviews reflect it. Everyone says, great communication, best communication I've had from a service company.
And like if someone's coming to your house to do something, they're like, they'll be there between 8 and 4.
Yeah.
And you're like, so I have a 9-hour window. Yeah. It's
like, hey, we're going to be there sometime between 1 and 4.
And then you get a call.
And they're always there at 4.
Yeah. Well, no, you get a call at 4 o'clock. We're running a little behind. It's like, you could have put me in the freaking next 5-hour window. I wouldn't have had to take a day off work.
That's horrible. So when we went to pick up the boat, I called twice, left messages, no return calls. They ended up calling me, and then a month later.
Yeah, forever the boat just wasn't done. It sat there for almost 3 weeks and wasn't even touched. Then they were like, oh, it's on our list of things to do this next week. It's like, what
and then they called back and said, hey, we broke something. Anyways, I go to pick up the boat. And one of the things that really jumped out at me.
They called you a week in advance, even though we waited this entire time. And they were like, hey, the boat's
When are you going to come bitch your boat up?
They were like, the boat's been here so long. We'd really like for you to pay for the service. They made you pay in advance.
And I paid over the phone.
Yeah, before you even picked it up. And you were like, well, I haven't seen the service that was done yet.
Because it was service and an installation of some tower speakers.
It's like the boat was there because you kept it and didn't do the job. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, do you want to pay me for the missed weekends of not having our recreational activity?
I know. So I get the boat and they basically just turn the paperwork over to me. And I'm like, what I was expecting was like, hey, we just maintenance your boat. Here's the things that we did to your boat.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera.
They did some things to your boat.
Anyway, long story. I get in, they cut all my speaker wires. They blew out the speakers, hooking up to an amp. Didn't hook up the tower speakers the way they wanted to. Left the trash, pulled the flooring up.
The floor of the boat was like pulled up, shoved in a cabinet. It was like, it's the floor that you like pin down, like the nice mesh flooring. Anyway,
and then when I finally get it up, and I ended up basically saying, hey, we're going to bring the boat back. You're going to have to fix all this stuff. They agreed. It was wrong.
Well, because the boat still ran, but my girlfriends were coming. We would have never picked it up from the shop.
We never would have brought it.
We would have said,
if we didn't have people there.
F you, fix this.
But the worst, the icing on the cake was I finally get it on the water. I'm taking it for a test drive, and the boat requires service, or the service interval
the thing
message
we took
comes
it there
back
for
up,
in the first
which is
place.
the main thing I took it there for. And they didn't replace the recall and the steering cable. Like it was
everything
like
they could have done, they did.
It was
wrong.
like 8 items, totally wrong and messed up.
Complete negligence and like just horrible service. Didn't give a shit. It was kind of like, even when you mentioned it in the shop, they were like, oh, well, it was working when we tested it. And it's like, well, between then and now, my speakers are blown out. So,
exactly. But all this kind of comes back to is that if you're running a business, whether it's a service business or an install business or a rental business, there needs to be some sort of checklist, some sort of thing where you're communicating with the customer and they know what you're going to get. And not only are you going over it with the customer, you should be going over with it in your team internally. Like you should have had an internal checklist that you've gone through that you're presenting to that customer to explain all the things.
Even like having something ready for pickup. It's like, how is the floor not put back down when it's been you made us pay a week ago, so you knew the job was done and that we were coming to get it. It's just, the whole thing was wild. It was some of the worst customer service experience, and
it is the worst of my life.
Yes, probably ever.
But also a learning,
the boat
a learning
was
curve.
Smoking. Like smelled like
the speakers were like on fire.
Yes, it was horrible.
We hope we get it back tomorrow.
Yeah. So anyway,
for Labor Day weekend,
and now they've made us miss one of our friends' housewarming parties because we literally have to get the boat.
We have to get it during the day.
We cannot leave it in their hands for any longer than necessary.
So some of the great news, I'm encouraging any listener who's got a business to do that, is like, hey, work on the checklist, work on communication with customers. We've actually seen, we thought that our air conditioning business would start tapering off here in the end of August. So we've actually stayed pretty much busy overall. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we've got the positive Google reviews. And me being in the software business, while like we've built stuff for clients, we were never responsible for that side of the business. And so one of the things that you've done when you came on was, hey, we need Google reviews because we're running these service businesses and these service concepts.
I think it's interesting too, because it's like reviews are what people look at when they're going online to find somebody. If they're not getting a referral from a friend, they're looking digitally on Amazon, on Google to see like, what is this product all about? What is this service all about? And those mean a lot. I mean, I typically, whether I'm buying furniture or I'm trying to look for a plumber, like that's what I'm looking at. These are real humans who have utilized these services. And I will say there's probably a lot of people listening right now. A lot of people. There's probably our followers are probably listening right now, wondering why the hell we would have put our boat back in that shop. And because I was ready to be like, have them give you your money back. We're going to leave them a shitty review and we're going to get out of there. But the guy who had just taken over the shop, he actually did take ownership over what had happened and was like, we're going to make this right. And also, in your opinion, I mean, whether or not they were going to make it right, I'm not sure I was going to trust them to do it. But you're like, they caused more damage than what I paid for the maintenance. So at this point, even if I got my money back, I have to go.
It cost me more to get it fixed.
It would be thousands of dollars.
I'm already at like negative.
Yeah.
In that thing.
But anyway, I think the biggest thing too is that mistakes happen in any business. Like they do. And you have employees and you can't always know exactly what all of your employees are doing. You can't know all of the processes. There should be good management in place. It shouldn't happen. But like, maybe you are taking over an existing business and there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. And, you know, there's priorities and you can't get to it all. But it makes a huge difference how you handle situations when the mistakes happen, because there could be 1,000 good orders and people are going to remember that one bad order, but they'll also remember how you handled it. It's like, if you can make something right, you might still get amazing accolades. But if it's like you make a mistake and you just don't care, you know, then it's like people are going to, they're going to slay you. Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, obviously we're not leaving a bad review or anything along those lines, because we need to see where this whole story ends up. But I'll tell you what, the power, I'll tell you what, you mentioned Amazon and, you know, Amazon has reviews, but they added something and I couldn't tell you how long it's been out there for, maybe a year, maybe probably longer. But it's like, it tells you how many of these units have been bought in the last month. And that to me is a bigger indicator of the popularity of that
demand.
Product. Yeah. So when I see that and I see, and I say that because Dusted's now, you know, hey, 50 plus people bought this month. It's like, oh my gosh, like, it's like, it tells other people, there's other people that are trying this. They love it. Right. They're doing that. I have found that to be a big decision in my shopping. And then also one of the things that we have seen a change in Dusted sales. Like literally is a day when we hit the bigger numbers, and then we got that little pin that said 50 plus buy this or 100 plus buy this. It has kept our sales going, I believe.
Well, Dusted is our steak seasoning, and like any product, you know, e-commerce product, it's like success breeds success.
Yes.
And it's no different than algorithms on social, than algorithms on shopping centers. It's like online shopping networks, which Amazon is the biggest one. But I mean, if people are interacting with your product, then they will continue to provide that product. It will show up higher in the searches. The more reviews you get, the more purchases you get. All of a sudden, their algorithms are going to be showcasing your product more often. And I didn't know they showed how many units had been purchased, but I look at number of reviews too. So like when you used to look at reviews, you'd be like, show me anything that's 4 stars and up, or 5, 4.5 stars and up. And now it's like, okay, that's great. And it takes time to like build up a business. Like that's the hardest part, is sometimes people are looking at things and they're like, only show me something that has 5,000 reviews or more. Like for these huge, if you're looking for something that's so common, I want pillows for my bed. It's like, okay, these are things that are super popular. So if you're a brand new pillow entering a marketplace, like, good luck, you know? And that's kind of where we are in this startup mentality of being like, let's just, you got to start somewhere. And not
if you
get
are
discouraged.
selling a product and you're looking to get an Amazon has a program called the Vine program. And the Vine program actually allows you to basically give 30 of your product, up to 30 of your product away in exchange for a review. And it's not in exchange for a good review. It's just in exchange for a review. And so you can also, if you're someone who gives reviews a lot, for the things that you buy on Amazon, you can actually apply to be a part of the Vine program. and then receive product for free.
Okay.
And then give a quote. But we did that with our seasoning, and it was good and bad. Like, we had people who I think took that job very seriously, and they gave good, honest reviews, but they also mark them and say Vine, so that they it's like, hey, this person gave a review, but they got a free product.
Right.
So it's good and bad, because it did seed our reviews to get us up and started. So definitely I would recommend that to people who are looking.
I'm not super familiar with that, but
Yeah, I think that was pre you joining.
No, I remember you participating in the program, but yes, I was not a participant myself, like interacting or gaining feedback, understanding how the program works.
Yeah, we hit some good sales goals. Speaking of Dusted, we hit some good sales goals this month. It's our highest month to date. Maria's hearing that early, but we announce it at our first meeting of the month, any of the new stuff that we do. So I'm really excited that we hit some good numbers. We've been manufacturing and bringing in cases and cases of bottles. So it's very cool.
Yes, it's very exciting. We have an awesome, I'd call it sales team, but really
we have a good sales team.
Yeah,
I mean, everything that's there. And we're working on expanding that. So we're going to open up some inbound channels that allow us to, help people with their marketing and their look and their web presence and their marketing presence. So I think what we're going to do is take a lot of what we've learned and then apply that to other people who are starting up their own, trying to make their dreams come true. Mm-hmm, so it'd be pretty cool.
I know. That's awesome.
I'm actually digging that part. What?
Nothing. You're digging everything.
Man, I'm digging everything.
I know. He's so overexcited these days.
Yeah. Actually, I read something this morning that got me really excited, because our company builds product. We're not limited to one little area. And, one of the things that we're really working on is franchise concepts in the service space. And there was an article out on CNBC this morning, and they were talking about how Gen Z is skipping college. Like college enrollment is down. Like, it used to be like everyone had to go to college. You had to go to college to get a degree to be a good life. And all these people are like, yeah, not going to college anymore. Whether that's cost, whether that's the fact that they can't, they don't want to leave their parents' basement. I don't know the reasons. But the reality is that they're skipping it and they're going into the trades. And we're seeing a huge surgence in the trades business. And we're talking people like, plumbers, electricians, lawn care, window cleaning, duct cleaning, I can just kind of go on and on, pool care. And so they're getting in these trades, and what they're realizing, which is something that we've known, which is like, your plumber friend is probably a millionaire.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I think growing up and for a very long time, I didn't look at blue collar workers and think that they were wealthy. Yeah, my mind didn't go to that place. Like, until I actually was adulting hard enough to have had to have paid for a plumber or paid for an electrician.
Whoa. Adulting hard enough?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a level of adulting.
There's two levels of adulting?
Yeah.
What's level one?
I'm sure I can still, like starting to adult.
Which is what? Making a meal, taking out the trash. Like, what's level one of adulting? It's like, I'm adult level 4.
Yeah. I still have a ways to go.
Okay.
In my adulting.
All right. Well, keep going.
I'm trying my hardest to get there. No, but I think, like, there's aspects. Sometimes you're renting. It's not your problem. You call your landlord and you say, hey, I have an issue. I need you to do this. So when I was in college, I was renting. I still wasn't paying for those services myself, but I was adulting. In some ways, I was paying bills.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it's like, until you realize how expensive the services actually are, and like how niche the trade is. Like, it's not something you can do. It's not something that, I mean, you are different. You can do many things, but even you are like,
I'm adult level like 50.
Yeah, for sure. Engineer, adult, entrepreneur. But anyway, you even sometimes are like, okay, I can't do this level of plumbing. Like, I can hook up a sink, but there's going to be an aspect okay, I can't do a grease trap by myself, or whatever it may be. So it is like, you need those trades to come in. And I think that it's incredible. Like, if they end up owning their own business, like, you can learn as someone that's working underneath a business or a franchise. Yeah. And then it's so easy for you to be like, okay, well, I have the skills, the business. Usually these businesses consist of a handful of people, unless you turn into some massive like chain or conglomerate. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to open up my own plumbing business. I've got clientele that I've helped over the years.
In the industry, we call that 2 chucks in a truck.
Yeah.
So it's usually the owner and a helper and a vehicle.
Yeah.
And
you learn. And that's
they
kind
do
of
work, and they're making great money because they don't have the overhead
Right.
of all the accounting and the marketing teams and this, and they just have, we don't have phone books
and
anymore.
you can make really good money. But there are people, when I was going to school, even like for nursing or something, like there were different programs where there were trade schools you could go to for 2-3 years, and then
2-3 months.
Yeah. Get a certification and you're like, okay, I'm golden. Like I'm going to go practice this. And I felt like I wouldn't change my, college career for anything. I loved the experience, just the life experience. But there were a lot of people when I got out of college who had been living on their own and working jobs for 2 years because they chose to go the route of a trade school. And it was like they were doing so well for themselves. And at the time, again, I was kind of looking at them like, oh, they chose not to go to college, like almost like it was a negative.
Right. You did.
There is no negative connotation at all. I mean, those
because
people
they're the ones
are so
on their
incredibly
boat. They're the
successful.
ones that have nice trucks and they're relaxing on the weekends.
They're like 5 years ahead of everyone else.
Right. They don't have debt. They're not sitting on
exactly.
$30,000 of college, if not $100,000 of college.
And college is great. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. But if you are going to go to college, for sure, I wish. Again, I wouldn't change anything, but I do wish I would have known, like, hey, there are specific degrees where you can come out and you can get a very specific job. You're getting a skill set that you need to be certified for.
Well, and the reason why I said I'm excited is that there are a lot of these young people who are looking to get in, do blue collar work, get into the trades, and we're building things for them to help them succeed, because a lot of people don't have that person that can. To your point, why can I do a lot of things? It's because I had a dad and a grandpa who taught me how to do. They were in the construction trade, so just by default, I learned a lot of these things. Yeah. Today, people don't have that.
They don't have the skill set. It's like a dying trade.
It is slowly dying. And so some of the things that we're able to provide, which is like, hey, we're going to teach you how to do this.
Yeah.
You're going to open up your own franchise and you're going to do this. And you're going to, what we have is it's not what we call a home-based business. It would be more of a what we call a lifestyle business.
Yeah.
Which is you make a good money to afford a great lifestyle, raise kids, get housing, vacation, put your kids through school, or hopefully back through blue collar, or do whatever you're doing, or take over your business,
or just open an ice cream shop.
So,
that would be nice.
We should title our book and be like, if you don't open an ice cream shop, try one of our 15 franchises.
There you go.
That should be the title.
I love it.
Because we would all say, yeah, you really should open an ice cream shop.
No, but I do. I think that the trade business is amazing. I mean, obviously we need people in all professions, but there are some professions too that are being very much so not taken over by technology, but supported by technology. And some of those manual jobs don't exist anymore, but the blue collar work will never be replaced by, it's not like there's robots.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime
soon are these jobs being replaced. We actually just brought on a new team member who had went through a coding boot camp. Talk about just going through trades and then getting a job. Like literally coding boot camp, gets in, it's like, then it's OJT. Like it's like learning and doing
OJT?
On the job training.
Oh, cool.
OJT.
Yeah. I did a lot of OJT in my day.
Yeah. No, you, but you didn't get paid.
I thought it was like a type of orange
That's
juice.
like slavery.
What? Oh yeah.
You were a turtle volunteer.
Yeah, I was a marine biology major, and I did 18 hours of work a day for free.
And then, the more I think about that program, the more I get upset, because it's like they have a program in place just to prey on the hopes and dreams of everyone each year entering or leaving school. They have a fresh batch of just marine biologists.
It's hard to get into marine biology. And I mean, this is a whole nother topic, but there are a lot of trades, marine biology, oceanography, whatever. It's like all grant work. I actually discovered they
didn't tell you this secret till later.
Well, I really wanted, first of all, they say a lot of people, if you actually want to make a career of it, most people who make careers in those fields, I don't want to say most, but a lot of people are either very well-known, world-renowned researchers who are
and they're publishing.
Yes,
Like,
publishing
they're
and
doing
making grants,
something to
or
get them to that
they're
level.
a professor, and again, publishing their work.
Publishing, getting grants to
people
do the
who
work.
are college professors who are getting paid and getting grants to do the work, then take the summers that they have off to go on the ocean and do whatever they're doing.
So what always puts a smile on my face, and for those of you that don't know, Beck graduated with a marine biology degree, and she wanted to be on those deadliest catch ships out in Alaska.
I really did.
And tell those burly men in the middle of a sea of darkness
That their fish was too small.
that their crabs were too small. And it was like, girl, you were going to be crab food. They were going to slice you up, put you in
they were going to be crabby
baskets.
for me. I know. And like,
They'd be like, what happened to that girl? I'd be like, yeah, a wave got her.
These like 50-year-old men who haven't seen a woman in 6 months. You're just like living on this ship. I'm like the only like 20-year-old there. Like, hi guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi, I'm
no.
22. You need to throw those crabs back. They're too small.
I know. That's their livelihood.
Yeah, no.
It would not have. My mom was pretty apprehensive about that.
She was
idea.
pretty, yeah.
She was like, no.
Come to Florida.
Yeah, this is not going to be
Come
good.
back home.
But I did end up, I studied around the Galapagos, studied sea turtles, got a job here in Sarasota. Volunteering. It was volunteering. It was a unpaid internship, 100% unpaid internship.
Slavery.
Yeah, slave labor.
Yes.
But and I would say it was enjoyable, but what I thought was going to be really cool, like seeing all these sea turtles and helping do the research and mark the nests. It was like, I had to excavate nests that had been attacked by raccoons in the night, where like all these dead turtles were like just bloody.
You're literally doing a crime scene.
Oh
It's like, what it's like, what do you do? You should stop saying like turtle, whatever. You'd be like, yeah, I'm an NCIS crime scene investigator.
It felt like it. And like red ants are like crawling all over you. A storm would hit. You're out there before the beach even gets combed in the morning because you got to see the sea turtle tracks. So you're like working at like 4 a.m. I'm like, okay, there is nothing luxurious about this. And everyone you meet.
It reminds me of that Adam Sandler movie where
she forgets him.
Well, no, where it's the one, the 50 First Dates, where he's the marine biologist.
Is that? Oh, come
on. And then it's
Thank
the woman
you,
with the ponytails.
Babe, this is literally what I just said.
And she gets puked on, and she's like, I do it for the animals. I love the animals.
I know. Yeah, the Drew Barrymore movie. Yes.
Yeah.
I know. That's the one where she loses her memory. It's why it's called 50 First Dates, because they go on.
I know that, but I'm not sure what you had said, but it didn't resonate with me. So I had to give more clarity. If it didn't resonate with me, it probably didn't resonate with our 4 listeners. So
yeah, way more than 4
I
listeners.
know. I'm just teasing.
No, but what I was going to say is when you're doing marine biology, what I discovered is there were a lot of people, both men and women, who were doing grant work. And oftentimes they didn't have families. They weren't married. They weren't. It's like they were these individuals.
It's career first.
Yes. And they had traveled the world. They took whatever opportunity came to them. And what an amazing life. Like for some people, that is what fills your bucket.
And we have friends that those are those people. And
yes, they travel. They've
that.
lived on islands. Like there's certain things where I'm like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. What a lifestyle to live. But I did. I always thought like I want a family. And so it was just not the profession for me. And so I went and made Jimmy John sandwiches.
I know. Talk about a career change.
Career changer. No, I only did that for a short period of time. I had to make some money after I worked for free for so long.
I know. It's so funny because you actually did a lot of what, people in business do, which is you said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pay. I got 6 months of bandwidth. I'm going to prepay for 6 months. I got enough money to buy food for 6 months, and I'm going to see where this goes.
I'm going to get by.
And those of you that are starting up businesses, a lot of time, and this is actually one of the corps that we're going to film this afternoon, which is you hear these stories where people who have almost made it, right? Or where they made it. And they go, you know what? We were down to our last, $100 in our bank account.
It's always kind of like a sob story, but it's true.
But here's the thing: is when they tell that story, when you get a visual of that, what you think is like, oh, hey, money, it's going down, 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 and they were almost going to be out, and then boom, something happened. The reality is that every month they were at $100. And so the story isn't we were down to our last. It's every month we're down to our last because we're investing in the company.
You just continue to stretch yourself.
And you're stretching yourself.
And there does come a point too where it's like you are so deep in it that there's only one way out. No, and that's success. Like you literally are like, okay, I have spent all my money. My life is riding on this. So now I'm going to have to continue because there's no other option.
So like there's I can't remember who coined the term, but it's called burning the boats.
Yeah.
And
I love that
what
term.
would happen is that when these old, I'll say Greek, I'm not sure. So the Greek armies would come and these soldiers would arrive. What they would do is they would literally dismantle the boats, burn the boats, so that the army knew the only way to get back home.
The only way you're going to survive.
The only way you're going to survive is to fight through this.
Yeah, you win the war, and then you're able to get rescued because obviously you were the victor. You had no boats to turn around. And that was the only.
And a lot of businesses like that. And we've read a lot of articles. Matter of fact, that one clothing line, Lahari, our neighbor used to wear them. The shorts, the fabric-y shorts.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, they do a couple $1 billion in sales now. Very popular athletic company, and it was actually his 4th startup.
Oh,
and what he was saying
this
was
is the Vital Farms, the egg guy.
No, that's a totally different story.
It's the same concept.
Same concept, which is, when you have to make a decision whether something's part-time or full-time. And then one guy who's like, I had 3 ventures that I was doing on the side. They all failed. But it wasn't until I just quit my job, went all in.
Right.
And then things happened.
And this other guy, it's like, anyway, he had all these different business ideas. And he finally was just like, I'm going to create something that people need and that they already want.
Which is eggs.
And he was like, I've tried so many different things and I'm a billionaire because of the eggs. Like
You're not a billionaire, but he's doing
nice.
eggs.
I love it.
Vital Farms. We love that brand. We love their marketing team. Huge shout out to you guys. You guys, your packaging is attractive.
I was just going to say that is one company that I would say purely on the packaging alone and it being so different from everything else that exists in that world. I guarantee that's how they got
marketing. Packaging matters, everyone. So
yes,
I think with that we'll call it a day and get to work.
I know we're definitely a little over time.
I'm actually thinking about what packaging we can do.
Yeah. You're thinking about packaging.
What's funny is that when we look at the packaging for our dusted company, it's all black and white, just white lettering. And while it seems very simple, we designed it that way. So that we stood out that way. It was very
Simple does really well these days.
Simple does very well.
We need to end.
I know.
You're twisting.
I'm getting dry. I think it's like mine's like dry.
Dry mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all right, we'll leave on a medical emergency. Until next time, we'll talk to everyone later.